And we're live.
All right, Grapplers, we are back. We're back in the studio. How you been? Hope you're good. So guys, we've obviously not been releasing episodes as frequently as we have done for the last couple of years. So as you know, we've always been pretty frequent and releasing a guest episode every single week. So recently we've dropped off a little bit. And the reason being is because you may or may not know, but Danny and I are both fitness professionals, but we were doing other things as well. So I was in a leadership role. Danny was running a business. Recently we decided to basically go full-time into sort of fitness and online coaching and strength and conditioning and everything else. So that's taken a little bit of a priority at the moment, but we will be back with guests very soon. And moving forward, the podcast is going to be a little bit more tailored towards strength and conditioning, nutrition, and sort of injury prevention and general fitness for grappling and jiu-jitsu. So Danny and I will be talking a little bit about some of the clients we've been working with already. And when we're talking to guests, the conversation will always be about jiu-jitsu, always be about grappling and giving you guys value, but also talking a little bit about what they're doing off the mats to prepare their bodies for jiu-jitsu and competition, anything else they're doing. Does that sound like a pretty fair summary of the situation?
We're also releasing our new program, Body for BJJ. We're going to really focus on that, and we're going to be pushing that to help you guys, basically, because we don't think there's enough out there that's actually like, you know, good enough for what you guys need. So we're gonna push that pretty hard over the next 6 months, 8 months, you know, and try and get it on track.
Yeah, and guys, it's going to be a very low price point, so give you guys the ability to get some really good coaching and some really good direction in regard to your training off the mats for a very low price point. We'll be building in a little community as well. We'll be doing regular webinars and probably adding a few other bits as well, like educational content around sort of other things, more holistic things, talking about injury prevention and and I think probably doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu instructional or just fucking around a little bit, rolling around on the mats, trying to act like we know what we're talking about when it comes to jiu-jitsu. So yeah, like Danny said, watch this space. We'll be releasing that in the coming weeks or months. And then, be pushing that pretty hard for you guys moving forward.
Excited.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah, it's going to be good. But yeah, we will still very much be the Grapplers perspective and still talking to guests on a regular basis. I think Danny's going to try and get in a good episode this week, so we'll get that out pretty soon for you. And we thought we'd also talk today a little bit about some of the people that we've already been working with. So some of the, not just jiu-jitsu people, but judokas, but grapplers in general. So we've both had a couple of clients that have had some real success recently. So we thought we'd talk about that. Do you want to start with Big Mark?
Where do I start with Big Mark, eh? Shout out to Mark Adams, the big bastard. He's done unbelievable, mate, hasn't he? He started at 132 kilos last year, and we had a goal of getting him to under 100. So that was a pretty fucking hefty goal. So that was the start of the year, but we lost maybe like 10 kilos in 6 months maybe. And we were kind of effing and arming. And then we decided to go fucking all in to get him under 100 for the Judo Veteran World Championships in France, which was like a few weeks ago. And we made it. We done it. We got down to 99.3 kilos day before weigh-in. So, you know, what can you really say? Like, he followed everything to a T. You know, he just smashed it, mate. What I liked about Mark is he just trusted the process and understood that sometimes he's not going to constantly lose weight. It's not going to be huge amounts of weight coming off all the time. There were some times where we plateaued and sometimes where it was a bit difficult around work, you know, and around training and energy levels and all that type of stuff. But realistically, you know, for him to go from 132 kilos in January to then, you know, this year it's going to be, he's going to come in at around 100 kilos. It's fucking a great year, isn't it?
It's pretty amazing, mate. And just rolling with the guy is so much nicer. I can't thank you enough, mate, for getting that weight off him, because rolling with him, he's what is he, a 5th dan fucking judo black belt and a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He was horrible to train with at 132 kilos. So,
because he used his weight so well. You know what I mean? He just fucking distribute his weight so well. And you couldn't stand up with a fucker because you'd be launched. So you'd always have to start bottom. And then when you start bottom, he's just crushing you. But no, I'm super proud of him, mate. He done so well, because again, it's one of those things, isn't it? I think he was over, you know, that sort of weight for a long time, and it can be difficult if you've got that mindset, like I'm just a big dude, you know, I'm just going to stay at that heavy weight for a certain amount of time. And it was getting past those like barriers, basically, I think that, you know, he could achieve that, you know. And we was only talking yesterday at the gym. We were doing a bit of a back session, and we're talking about what we're going to do next. And effectively, mate, we've chatted about it, and we're going to document us getting him to his best shape ever. So we're going to go for abs, mate, now. So he might even end up going down to like 90 kilos or something. I think he's probably going to have to go down to about 90 kilos to see his abs. But mate, that would be crazy. How long you know Mark for, and to see him looking like that would be just unreal. But I think you know, he'll be a victim, man. He'll be in victim weight category.
Yeah,
you know?
about time, mate. But yeah, it's good, man. How did he kind of find his training during that calorie deficit and that drop?
Well, it was difficult towards the end. I think that was the only time, maybe like the few weeks before, was, you know, he was about maybe 2 weeks out, 104 kilos. So we had to drop some water, pull back on his carbs and his glycogen and his sodium levels and stuff like that. That was the only part, and I think he'd agree that was tough, and I had to be a bit hard on him. But most of the other time, mate, it's as simple as calories in, calories out, giving him a good regime, giving him some autonomy to feel that he can choose what he can do as long as he sticks within his calories. And yeah, he just done it, mate. And he wasn't snacking and cheating and not tracking. And we just made it as simple as possible. We just give him a plan, like, because he's a truck driver and he does different shifts. It's like we had to find a way where when he was working long hours, that he wasn't overeating or snacking or, you know, through the night sometimes getting bored, you know, and just eating shit. That was our biggest hurdle. But once things become a habit, that was the big thing. It's like it takes 66 days for something to become a habit. So that's what we aimed for, basically, was to make sure that his breakfast and his dinner was pretty much the same every day. And then he could eat what he wanted for tea effectively, as long as it was in his macro goals and calorie goals. That's how we done it. And we give him autonomy just to be able to eat what he wanted pretty much. And then even with those 2 meals that we did choose for the breakfast and dinner, that was something he liked. It wasn't like, you know, shit.
Yeah, nice. And you obviously you didn't just work with him nutrition, you also did some strength conditioning as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about that as well.
So with his S&C stuff, we just focused on power, trying to get him stronger. And we just focused a lot on like compound movements. We've done a lot of clean and jerks, a lot of deadlifting, squats. We done movements in which a judoka would need, you know, he needed a strong posterior chain. He needed to be able to move explosively. We weren't doing as much, especially towards the end, like super heavy sets, because he just didn't quite have the energy maybe sometimes. And obviously because we needed to lose weight, we switched it more towards like HIIT workouts with some S&C thrown in there. But yeah, that's why we focused. That's what we done, and we just smashed it and just nailed it.
Yeah, nice, man. Yeah, it's good. And he didn't. I don't think he medalled, but he beat a Frenchman, which was
that was his goal. Yeah. That was it. He went out there. He was like, I want to beat a Frenchman. But the competition in judo is crazy. It's not like jiu-jitsu, guys. It's a different level. Yeah. These judokas, especially in France, mate. You know what I mean? Like fucking hell.
Well, it was the World Championships, the veteran World Championships, but people from all over the world.
All over the world. Yeah. But you know, he beat a Frenchman. That's all he gave a fuck about. You know, the two goals were to get under 100 kilos and beat a Frenchman, and he done both. Yeah. So, what a mark, mate. That was fucking an amazing effort. And yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, sick, man. And interestingly, I've been working with Mrs. Adams, so Mark's other half, who's also a judoka and a competitor as well, Kylie, and she was also competing in the Veterans World Championships, but had a very different challenge in the sense that she. Back when she was doing a grading, I think back in the summer, she did a competitive round and then was basically doing like an open mat round with a smaller opponent and maybe just switched off for a moment or just got unlucky, but blew her knee and completely ruptured her ACL. So had a full thickness grade 3 tear on her ACL. And Kylie, won't mind me saying, but also going back a couple of years, she also had a full hip replacement as well. So we had a conversation and she'd had an MRI, had a scan, so she knew that it was a full thickness tear, so there was no ACL attached anymore. So obviously with judo being, a high impact sport that requires a lot of rotation through the legs, that's slightly problematic. But she was still adamant that she wanted to do the World Veteran Championships.
Which I think everyone advised her not to do.
Yeah, including me. But to be fair, we, as a kind of exercise rehabilitator or sports therapist, whatever you want to call me, we just had an honest conversation. It's always about the client and what they want to do. But I just had to explain the risks, which were that there is a possibility that she could do further damage to the knee. There's 3 other ligaments still attached that could rupture, and also a meniscus that could tear as well. But she is still considering surgical intervention, but the time frames just weren't available for her to have that done, and then rehab, and then obviously make the championship.
Well, yeah, so it's a year, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a year rehab.
Yeah, like 9 months minimum. So she basically decided that she was going to go for it anyway, and came to me to see what we could do in regard to strengthening the knee. And one of the things I identified quite quickly through some of just the sort of basic movement assessments was that she clearly had a weakness in the same side glute medius from the surgery. So she'd done some initial rehab from the full hip replacement. It got to like a functional point where she could just do her activities of everyday living and get on the mats again a little bit, but it kind of stopped the rehab there. So there was a weakness that remained, and the glute medius is important for preventing knee valgus.
So what's that? So for people that don't know what that is.
So that's basically where when you sort of bend your knee or squat and your knees collapse in together. So that's knee valgus, which puts a lot of pressure through the ligaments in the knee. So it's possible that her knee may have been compromised because of that weakness in the hip and the inability to stabilize that knee through a judo throw. So one of the things that we did really was just work on really strengthening that. So you can't rehab an ACL that's not there, it's not attached. So we can't strengthen the ligaments. So we just had to strengthen the structures around the knee. So just everything that straps the knee up really. So you've got one of the adductors, the gracilis that comes in and wraps sort of below the knee. You've got a sartorius that comes over from the hip down, and then your hamstring comes in below the knee as well. Your quads obviously insert over the front, and then the gastrocnemius, the big part of your calf muscle, goes from the bottom above the knee as well. So you've got all these different structures that strap up the knee. So primarily we just focused on strengthening those things and creating some strength in her hips so that she could stabilize the knee through certain movements. Like you did with Mark, we worked on some like rotational strength and posterior chain strength. I didn't do any plyometrics with her because the risk reward wasn't there for me.
So stabilization could be a problem, can it?
Yeah. So we've now, since like post-event, I've started working in some like plyometrics with some like step drop-offs and stick and landings and that type of thing. But beforehand, it just wasn't worth the risk. Like we did some balance work to try and improve like appropriate reception. So her ability to kind of know where her knee is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I didn't want to risk her trying to stick a landing, like her knee slipping and then sort of doing further damage. So it was really about strengthening as much as we could, building some confidence, and she went out and competed. And I was worried that something bad might happen, but she actually got through, I think, 4 matches, pretty much like incident-free. So she lost her first match to the eventual winner of her division, some giant of a woman. She then won the next 2 and then lost the third. So her goal was really just to get there, have 1 match, and try and come back with a knee that was
working.
Yeah, no less intact than it already was. And she not only did that, she went out and got a couple of wins as well. So an amazing result for Kylie.
What did she come overall? 7th, wasn't it?
7th in the world in her division.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's fucking amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, she's now come back and we're still going to work together. But I think she's in a crossroads in the sense that she probably knows she needs that surgery at some point, but there's gradings coming up. She's not far off her next dan, so she's just got 16 points left to get. So there's a couple of opportunities to accumulate those points in the new year. She's got a holiday in May. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we can do without that kind of surgical intervention for now.
Well, she can manage without it as long as she's careful.
Yeah.
And she's trying to be sensible. Obviously, the risk is always there.
Yeah.
The risk is going to be there no matter what you do. But you can, with working with you and working specifically on those muscle groups, it can help it a lot. And people go years, mate, without repairing their ACL. As long as they're sensible with it.
Yeah, I think the the dangers is downstream, it can increase the risk of osteoarthritis in the knee because you don't have the stability. So you're going to create more friction and movement in the joint. And of course, if she does want to compete at a high level in judo again, then no ACL is going to limit her ability to do as well as she could do with an intact ACL.
Yeah, she will need it done, but she can maybe manage it, get her down, get the things that she wants to do, and then get it done. Yeah,
but plenty of people survive with that ACLs, you're right. And I think with, a good strengthening protocol, and providing you're consistent with that, there's definitely a way of mitigating the risk of osteoarthritis as much as possible as well.
Yeah, and I think in jiu-jitsu competitors or judo competitors in general, they really overlook like those sort of rehab times, and it's like, it was really refreshing to see someone in the gym, and he paid quite a lot of money to see a physio, and he was doing his rehab properly. And it was the first time in a while I've seen a jiu-jitsu or martial artist actually take their rehab super serious. It was like, I was like, fucking hell, well done, mate. Like, it was really nice to see just them take it super serious and just do everything they were asked to do. And he was in there for about, a good hour doing all his rehab work and that. And, I think more people, if they took their S&C and they took their rehab more seriously, they would be on the mats longer. They wouldn't have as many injuries as they do. Like the amount of people I see that, and they're like, yeah, I don't do any S&C. I don't do any strengthening work. I don't do any of this stuff. I just do jiu-jitsu constantly. But then they wonder why their back's hurting all the time, why their neck's hurting all the time, why their arms, shoulders, elbows, fucking whatever, knees, And you just need to take that time to be able to put in that work. You might miss a jiu-jitsu session here and there, but the benefit it'll be tenfold. You'll be on the mats for longer, and you'll be happier, and you'll be stronger and better.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I should tell you about my client Tommy actually on the note of that, because he's a really good example of someone that started jiu-jitsu and recognized that he actually needed that quite early on. So let me tell you about Tommy. So Tommy is he's been coming to my fundamentals class. He's like, he won't mind me saying, he's a small dude. He's like 60 kilos, grown man.
It's fucking massive, man.
But mate, he's got the strength of like an 80 kilo man, mate. I tell you, he's got a great S&C coach. But yeah, he's a bricklayer. So jokes aside, he's a strong lad for his size in a way. But he's never like done any sporting endeavor. And as he's getting a bit on in life and he wants to think about family, he was just aware that actually he's a small dude and wants to be able to defend himself potentially. So started jiu-jitsu, been training for maybe 5-6 months. Can only make it in about once or twice a week. So not a ton. But quite early on, he came to me in one of the fundamentals classes and asked for a bit of coaching. So we started doing some S&C, and he's like I say, he's never done any gym work before. Strong because he's a brickie, so got good grip. But yeah, just had never done anything. And not straight away, but early on had aspirations to then compete as well. I wanted to just give it a go, which he did recently, which I'll tell you about in a sec. But yeah, with him, it was cool because it was kind of like the opposite to Kylie in the sense that like we had somebody who was fresh, so we didn't have any injuries that we were trying to manage. It was an opportunity to actually take someone who's brand new to like training, gym work, and build them up and then run up to a comp. And it was, the approach I took. So initially, like the first 4 to 6 weeks, it was just getting them used to like training and just getting them used to lifting. So I think like the S&C nerds call it like a general physical preparedness block, where you basically just work on like movement, like building general physical qualities, like injury prevention, and just get someone used to bearing load through their joints, through their tendons, and just checking their technique is correct. So we did that for a bit. And because he's new, he got the newbie gains. So his like neurological system's like loving life and just starts firing up, and he starts lifting quite quickly. And then once we did that, then I sort of moved him on to more of a strength block. So like traditional like powerlifting type stuff and like reduced rep ranges, higher intensity, so higher training load. Did that for about 4 or 5 weeks. And then we moved on just as we getting closer to the comp to like more of like a power block. So we looked to like stabilize that strength. So we weren't pushing it. We just trying to hold it. And then we were then adding in sort of like plyometrics and some like weighted plyometrics and that type of thing. And because we only had like an hour per session, I used something called complex training. So that's kind of like a superset, if you know what that is, with a bit of a gap in the middle. But we do like a heavy squat, for example, give them a minute, and then we go into some like box jumps, give them a minute back onto the squat, and then we rotate like that. And then with push, like chest press, barbell chest press into like a plyo push up. So we started doing that. And also at that point started including some conditioning work as well. So we experienced the Tabata on the assault bike for the first time. But fair play to him, mate. Like The dude smokes a little bit as well, and he's got some lungs on him, mate.
What, proper smokes or vapes?
No, I think he has the odd cigarette, mate. But yeah, he did great. And then he ended up competing, I think, a couple of weekends ago at the Devon Open. So the Autumn Devon Open, which is a local comp that's run by Flow Martial Arts, really well run comp. And because he's 60 kilos, he basically, because most men aren't built that small, he basically didn't have anybody in his bracket. So he was really keen to compete, but he basically got to that point where nobody else signed up. There were a few unapproved people in there, but they just didn't pay. So we thought he had like 3. So we were going to have like a round robin. And like literally about 3 days before, got a notification that he was getting a refund and didn't have any opponents. So we reached out to the organisers, the lads down at Flow who run the show, and agreed to basically go up 2 weight divisions.
So he went up to 70.
He went up to 70. So he went in and fought 70. And mate was not like outgunned really at all. Certainly not in regard to his physicality.
No. I watched matches.
Yeah.
No. I didn't even know that he went up to 70.
Yeah.
Fair play, mate.
Yeah.
Fair play.
So he did fucking amazing. He didn't medal, but it was close. He had a really tough first match. Ended up winning it by 2 points from a takedown. Takedown we were working on quite a bit in training as well, so that was cool. And again, just was like really strong in positions, just stuck to his fundamentals, didn't try anything daft, and just like edged out a win. The second match, and you find this with white belts and a little bit in all divisions, I guess, but you could have someone like Tommy that's been training maybe twice a week for about 6 months to someone that's been training regular for 2 years. Yeah. And he just ran into a guy that was clearly a lot better.
Yeah.
And ended up getting subbed quite quickly. And then he had a third match, which was for bronze. And mate, he was winning. He was winning like, I think he was 5-3 up until about 90 seconds. And then the dude hit him with a couple of judo throws, and then just knocked the wind out of him, got him out, and then very quickly just shot up and ended up beating him on points. But mate, he was buzzing. His first ever like physical endeavor, sporting endeavor, first time he's ever competed in anything, let alone a combat sport. And he went in and fought for 12 minutes, held his own with bigger lads. Yeah. And mate, he did fucking great. So Tommy, good lad. Well done.
Yeah, it's class, mate. And Tommy's a good lad. He's everything you want, isn't he? From like a new white belt, he listens, he learns. Yeah. Like he's got no ego. You know, he's just there to do it, isn't he? And like you said, it's class. Fair play going up to 10 kilos, because again, like not many people would do that. They're just gone, it's fine. I'm not going to compete. You know, and again, it's hard to. It's easy for me to sit here and say, the outcome doesn't matter. It does matter. Like people say, it doesn't matter. It does to you, to the person, you know. And for him to put himself like on the line with a 10 kilo like discrepancy, especially for your first one, mate, is massive. You know, I remember when I did my first one, and I was a bit heftier then, and you know, I was in that over 100 kilo sort of thing. And I fucking hated it, mate, because I was just not as big as the other dudes, you know? And it does fucking weigh on you, you know? It does play on your fucking mind, you think. And you kind of use that as an excuse. Well, I did anyway. You know, it's fine, he beat me because he's bigger. All right, realistically, no, he's probably just better. Yeah.
Probably the size helped, I think, as well. Yeah, you had a very different body composition back then, mate. So yeah, it's good. But mate, like, since transitioning back into like full-time fitness, I mean, I've always been in fitness, but as we've talked about, like, kind of working in more of a leadership role before. I literally thought the other day, mate, just like working with Tommy and seeing him do well, working with Kylie and like a ton of other clients, like online and face-to-face, that are just like normal busy people as well. Mate, I fucking love this shit. I'm so glad to be back, mate.
Yeah, it's so rewarding, mate. I think it's nothing better than actually helping someone who wants your help, listens, and gets the results they want. You know, it's like, it's nothing really better, is there? Yeah. You know, and I think just going forward, mate, I think if we, you know, we've both, you know, took a step back from the podcast slightly just to realign ourselves in what we actually want to do, and I think it's going to be better for everyone. I think it'll be better for our listeners. I think it'll be better for the people we help. I think it'll be better for even the athletes, because again, we can help athletes and we can give them some advice, you know, and yeah, I'm really excited, mate. I'm just really excited to keep pushing forward and carrying on with the podcast and helping people. So if you need any help, guys, just reach out to either me or Paul. We'll get the new program up and running pretty soon. And yeah, we'll give you all the details.
Yeah. Peace out, guys. Speak to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.